For many Australians, accessing counselling services can be difficult for a range of reasons. For some, it can be a confusing and confronting step, while for others, it's a matter of trying to make time in an increasingly busy world. For instance, in Australia, only 1 in 4 young people who have serious psychological problems receive any professional support. Many of them find traditional counselling options unappealing. Neo-psychology engages young people in a meaningful way to meet their particular needs. Neo-psychology has a flexible and innovative approach that covers 3 main areas. The organisation provides counselling and assessments, including educational, psychological and clinical. As well as this, it also works in professional development and research and development. Services range from traditional counselling and therapy to life coaching, group programs and support and advocacy for parents. Neo-psychology uses a team-based approach that combines doctoral trained psychologists with complementary professionals from education, youth work, outdoor education and other specialist fields.
The way we see it is that we provide a real range of services, everything from the more conventional counselling, one-to-one counselling, family counselling, couples work, that sort of thing, through to group-based programs and even family programs, and the wilderness adventure therapy component. So we blend those things which have over time have found to be very useful for people, doing that in a fresh and unique approach.
Drawing on more than 20 years of experience with people of all ages, Neo-psychology founder Dr. Simon Crisp says the strength of the organisation is its responsive and client-oriented approach. It also focuses on strengths rather than problems in a positive psychology model.
I think a lot of difficulty with traditional mental health approaches has been to alleviate symptoms or to try and remove symptoms, and certainly research is showing, and common sense shows too, that we can't always avoid suffering and avoid problems, but what's more important is how we cope with those and actually apply ourselves in positive ways to the things that we need to address, using the strengths that we have.
With a background in mental health, both in the public and the private sector, Dr. Crisp recognises a need for a flexible facility with a wide range of services, based on what clients require. Constant evaluation and feedback is an essential part of the NEO service remaining responsive and effective.
I think our strong emphasis on feedback from clients, our strong emphasis on actually taking great trouble to understand what it is that people want. Who we have in the team, the staff team, is really critical and very careful to handpick people who can relate to people.
One member of this team is research consultant Cindy Hinch. Like Simon, it's her belief that client feedback, research and analysis are the keys to neo-psychology's effectiveness.
I think what's tried to be captured with this program is the newer aspects of psychology. So there's newer theories always developing and newer outcomes from research all the time, and something that neo-psychology's been adamant about sort of making sure is central to its practices is keeping up with that.
Consultant psychologist Emma Lund says neo-psychology has a contemporary research-based approach.
Everything that we do, we check that the client or the group or whoever that might be, what their thoughts are on it. And so you can only be responsive when you're actually evaluating that.
As well as responsiveness, the team also has a broad skill base that allows for more flexibility.
Rather than being quite rigid or fixed in the way it provides a service, it's able to be flexible and it's tailored for what people need.
For many young people, these needs can include programs outside of traditional counselling services. Wilderness adventure therapy teams are comprehensively trained in these specialised clinical practices, as well as outdoor skills. Staff are psychologists and fully qualified outdoor instructors. Run in a controlled therapeutic environment, the program incorporates communication and problem solving into adventure activities.
Having fun is such an important way of people changing and learning and experimenting. And without that, people are more likely just to not shift. So we see that a kind of positive enjoyment of building relationships based on humour and goodwill is really important. And nothing can be achieved without that. And even if that becomes a significant focus in the work, particularly with young people, that's really important.
Adventure and fun can play a role in a number of services, helping to build trust, teamwork and communication in group therapy and family counselling, as well as in peer groups.
When it's a fun thing to do, it's easy to engage. And for young people, that's really where they're at. The best way they can learn things is by play and by doing.
Phil Avery has worked for over 20 years as an outdoor educator and youth worker and says Neo-Psychology's wilderness adventure therapy is unique in that it fuses a number of effective practices within a systematic approach. For many participants, adventure can provide the sense of a common goal.
The adventure we have chosen as a form of therapy because it can provide opportunities that traditional therapies possibly don't work with young people. Young people can respond much better to different environments that are far more stimulating to them, environments that can provide challenges. Using adventure promotes effective teamwork and communication. Getting them involved in programs like this, we give young people the chance to experiment a little bit within safe boundaries, to try new ways of dealing with problems, to offer them some advice, give them the opportunity to practice these skills, and hopefully with some assistance, the skills they've learnt, they can now take them away and transfer them back to their family life, to their school life, or wherever it is that they may have been experiencing difficulties.
To grow, we need to take risks. We need to be able to actually try something different, push ourselves in some way, do things which may not feel good or we may not feel 100% confident about, but that's what is required for us to grow and to change and adapt. So that sort of thing comes from adventure. It's a notion of adventure. It's not necessarily abseiling, it's not necessarily doing the sorts of things you might normally associate with adventure, but it's that adventure state of mind.